You ever hear of a gooseneck faucet? Well, this is a dead gooseneck faucet. I showed you in a before blog post that the threads that hold that neck on, you know, when you pull down on that sprayer, they're just stripped. And the piece keeps falling down in there. I've put it back before and I'm done. I'm literally done messing with that. So right now I'm keeping it real. And it is zip tied, or not zip tied, but twist tied to my dish drainer. It still works, but I need to do something about this. I really was content. I mean, this is a small sink and scratched up and whatever. I was content to leave it go until I felt like messing with it. But apparently I meant to mess with it right now. And yes, I've been doing my dishes, so you see that there. The other thing is I have this dishwasher, and I don't use dishwashers. I don't like them. I like to clean my dishes. I like the time to just make sure everything's done and so on. So I'm going to be taking this out. I mentioned that also on my first initial inside tour. So right now I'm going to mess with is the disposal underneath is attached, right? So it drains into the disposal, and I want to get that out of there. It keeps somehow filling up. And when you get your disposal, if you remember in my previous home, I just had to replace the disposal there and did some plumbing work and replace the faucet there. It comes with a cap, and so because this was attached, there's no longer a cap, and so I'm gonna jerry-rig a way to hopefully cap this off. There is no such thing in the stores that I can find, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna stick on like a furniture foot, piece of rubber, and a clamp. So sorry about that. These little feet should slip right over there, and then a clamp like this that you tighten down with the screw. And it's funny because I came up with this, and when I was searching online, because the guy at the store said maybe look online because they didn't have anything, somebody on eBay is selling this. I already have the idea, but somebody's selling a set like this with this ring that's like, I forget, 50 cents or something, and a set of feet for $4. 4 feet for $4. They're selling this 1 foot and this thing for $9 plus shipping. So let's see if this works. Wanted to show you what I'm talking about. Never mind the stuff under here. I'll have to dig that out. Here you got your inlet for just the drain, to go run into the main, but here is where the dishwasher drains into there. So I'll have to turn off the water, which I thought I've already tried to do. So if that isn't turning off, I may have to hold off on this, but cap it here, and then I should be able to just do whatever. But at the same point, I wanted to show you what I got this Blanco, however you say it, composite sink, so a granite composite sink for $75, brand new. I'm so excited. It totally matches my counters with a little bit of color in there, and it's almost the exact same color that I used in my son's room. I just felt like complete answer to a heart's desire, a prayer of sorts. I didn't really ask for something like this, but I wanted a 10-inch sink. This is 10-inch. I wanted a double basin and be able to have 3 holes at least. So super excited for this, and we'll have to just find a faucet that I've been looking at for a while now and be able to drop this sucker in. My bad, I didn't look at this close enough. There is already one of those clamps on there, so I didn't even need to get that. But I always like to have those in my stash because you can use them for so many things, your car, so on and so forth. Ask me how I know. All right, I'm just going to take it off and see if I can't cap it, and we're good. Yeah, pretty nasty up in there. Not that you want to see that. But let's see where we at. So there's what I got to cap off. I'm going to clean it and then put the cap on. This was a booger to get on. Sorry, it's hard to focus under here. But I'm twisting. There's some threads. I'm gonna get it on there and then get the clamp. Normally you would leave the clamp somewhere here so you can just slide it this way, but because of me needing to grip and get it down as tight as possible, I'm just gonna work with a little bit bigger clamp that was already on here. And yeah, that's a doozy. another thing I might do if I have trouble with this finishing it, take it off, use my heat gun, warm it up a bit. I've done that where I've had hoses, like a garden hose, needing to be a new piece put on to the end to a fitting, and you heat the hose up and then you get it on there, and then it'll shrink eventually onto there and makes a nice tight fit. So hopefully I can get this on. I think I can finish it, but we'll have a test run here and let you know. Ta-da! Got it pushed on. Again, I know you can't see. That's nice. I mean, it's not going anywhere. Nice and tight, should do the job. I won't know till I try it out a few times when the disposal gets to where it needs to be emptied. Doggone, that was easy and a simple fix, so I'm glad I thought of it. And hopefully, goal is to get the dishwasher out and build a cabinet like I built. We built in the kitchen over at the other house, where I had a pull-out drawer for my cookie sheets because I don't like storing them there. And this is a gas range. I want to switch. I'm sorry, this is electric range. I want to switch to gas, and I want to put my exhaust running outside. This is just a hood, doesn't exhaust to anywhere. So I want to bring that over here with the refrigerator, replace the refrigerator, bring that over there, and put the trash and my baking pans here, and then I can exhaust with a nice hood out to the outside. Obviously this is going to be a while in the works, but I'm always on a mission. So I should have had the video on. My water line connected to the dishwasher back there, that valve is faulty, and that explains, which I figured, why the dishwasher was continuing to fill up with water very slowly. I sprayed water everywhere. Hopefully the valve, I can get it to turn off. If not, I'm going to turn off the main and then replace this valve before I can take the dishwasher completely off. But that means stinks, because now I can't drain my dishwasher, empty it when it fills up with water into the sink, unless I take what I just put on off. So let's see what we figure out. Okay, so back up, but you can see decent space, right? Dishwasher, and it's a mess in there. What really confused me, and why I thought that different things were in different places, we've got the disposal power source here, and I had a cord running in, wired into the switch. So I took that apart thinking, okay, leave it to the disposal and take off the dishwasher. But normally I thought dishwashers were a plug-in. Well, that was accurate. It is a plug-in. When I dismantled this, I lost power to the disposal, which I found runs through here and then plugs into an outlet behind the refrigerator. So yeah, it just kind of threw me for a loop because I've not had that before. I had a undermount disposal cord in my other house, and then ended up running it up when we redid the counters and stuff so that it would be safer. I can't tell you how many times I'd be washing dishes and a little kid would come along and flip the switch, so didn't want to risk chopping anything up on my fingers. Hi, Lula. So I got that wired back in and everything's running fine, but definitely thinking I'm going to try to, if I can, run it up so it's just safer. So I learned the hard way. It's been a while since I've done this, but can happily say the dishwasher is now detached. I had to figure out that some of this was the line that I was messing with was actually the ice dispenser water line. I had to disconnect that at my other house because of issues of leakage, and so didn't even think that. And when I got here, I got a cap for it. When I got here, I was like, wait a minute, it's attached to the cold water line, not the hot water. So therefore it means something else. So they're all running through the cabinet at the same spot. Duh, I should have known better. It was not. There was another line in there running that way as well, and I just didn't recognize parts, because I honestly have not used a built-in dishwasher since I lived with my parents ages ago and never maintenanced that, but I did watch my father. And so it's now disconnected. I've capped off, if you can see back in there, the water line, so that way if the valve gets messed with, you don't want to just shut it off and take that off. You want to cap it. So I capped that off, and I'm going to be pulling this out, and I'll show you what I've got to work with, what I'm going to be building in. Lesson learned. So just recapping some things that I've learned, that like I said, I like to keep it real. I'm not going to fake and fuss and pretend things are all okay all the time, because they're not. And I can laugh and giggle. I hide that stuff really well. Some days I don't feel like doing that, but I do it anyway because that's kind of how I was trained to do. But one of the things I wanted to say that I didn't quit, right? I messed up and I just was into it because I've had some other stressors going on in my life. I have some news I have to worry about with Lula, with some doctoring she needs. There's some things for myself. And you know, those things can get in the way, but that means I got to keep going despite that too, right? Can't just sit down and do nothing. So, what was funny was I was excited. I got the dishwasher out and I thought, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm going to let either somebody just have this or just sell it for cheap, whatever. I just want it out of here, like roll it down the driveway. Anyway, and is looking forward to the next steps. And then I'm up at my computer and my son calls up and says, hey, the faucet's not working. What? I thought, oh, okay, think. I didn't really turn off any valves. I had to turn them, but then turn the back right away. And so I'm thinking, okay, when water pressure goes, it could be a blown line. We're in negative degrees, right? So I start honestly going to the wrong point and to the next level. And I started checking my, you know, there'd be air in the lines. I got to let that out. So I went up into the bathroom and ran the tub and the sink and flushed the toilet, and everything was going well there. Still no pressure here. And I knew that your aerator can get clogged when you do something like that, where you shut off the water and turn it back on. But I just thought, I couldn't be shutting it off that much. You know, there would be something like a leak. And it was a dribble. But anyway, I went outside, I checked the spigot, make sure, because, you know, I mentioned this is a concrete foundation. I can't go into the basement and check. Everything's right here. So I come back in after freaking out. I checked the aerator. It was clogged. I thought, Larissa, you just did yourself another wrong. Why did, you know, just calm and whatever. And I didn't say I flipped out. I just was worried it was worse than what it could have been. So waiting on my faucet to come. And then I'll be installing my sink and faucet, so I'll be showing you guys what I do with that. In the meantime, as I mentioned in my blog post, I've got all sorts of things going on. My son has got all the attention with his room, so I'm going to transfer some energy into my daughter's room and help them with some storage. I'll be sharing that here soon too. I've had inspections with the garage going on. I had to have some electrical added that the electrician didn't do it first, and the inspector said you got to do that. So I've been rebuilding some of the furniture for other parts of the house, changing doorknobs, and just all sorts of upgrading. The stuff that's behind the scenes is kind of boring. But I am busy, I am working, and honestly always doing. Happy to say that with my garage build, I put out the last bit of trash that was actual trash. I had given away so many supplies and materials where they had told me to rent a dumpster to throw all those things away. They would have just chucked away nails and all this brand new boxes, materials, wood and drywall, and I gave those things away. So I'm able to bless others. That's wonderful too. Met a couple that was great in resourcing and building a greenhouse with some of the materials I was giving them. That's all it's all about. Saved me $300. It took me, I think, 3 days straight of an hour each of just cleaning up and sorting and actually putting in trash what is trash. And then instead of paying the city to come get it or a dumpster, I just put it out with my regular trash in little bits. And I don't mind doing it that way. I didn't like seeing it outside, but it only took about, I think, 4 weeks of trash pickups to just put an extra bag or two. I don't put out much anyway because I recycle or compost. Anyway, I just want to encourage you. Yes, we're going to face trials and things can seem drowning. I totally can feel like that, maybe feel like that at the time with different things I have going on, but I do know that I can keep plugging away and I'm able, so I feel blessed, and encourage you to share your story, ask questions. I'm happy to field questions or what are you doing, but living real with Larissa. Until next time.